if you make your case right, and if you've illustrated it well in your tabletop exercises,
Yeah.
and in all of your drilling and your training, where you can say, hey, here's what we drill for, and these are the weaknesses that we saw, and here's what we think we can do to shore them up. Generally you can get support for it.
Another question comes to mind, and I'm thinking back to how you started out the conversation with saying how you are a first generation executive, right? With having no law enforcement background, jumping right out of college and right into it. And so what business signals, with that being the preface of that, what business signals do you actually see in these AI headlines that are coming out that the traditional industry is completely missing?
I don't know that they're missing any of the AI signals. What I would probably say is there's slow adaptation, not sure where and when and how it can play in their security operation. And I would argue that we should be, really running towards that solution. Not walking, because I've seen firsthand, some of the benefits of it. And I think it can revolutionize in some cases, what you use your resources for, because none of us have infinite capacity. And the beautiful thing about AI is it gives you more capacity.
It does.
It gives you more capacity. So if you can get more capacity, what could you do with some of those tabletop exercise results you had in terms of, mitigating risks if you have more capacity and more resources? Because that's the key to AI.
I agree. All right. So last question here. If a leader wants to start the full spectrum resilience this week, what, in your opinion, is one legacy metric that they should delete immediately?
Wow.
Did I stump you?
Yeah. I mean, all metrics count, right?
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, there could be a legacy metric that you would want to delete. But I think the hard part, the reason why I'm struggling with this question is, it's such a broad question, but it's so individualized in terms of what the response is.
True.
Because what I may eliminate as a legacy metric, my retail counterpart at another company wouldn't dare touch that.
Okay.
And vice versa. So I think it's individualized, and I think in some cases, maybe you don't eliminate the metric. You figure out a different way of having it speak to you. And that's the beauty of AI. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
In the days where we recorded CCTV.
Way back ago. Are we talking on the VHS?
You can put it any way you want. We had so much footage that never went viewed. And at Salesforce, we would call it trapped data. In today's world, with the advent of AI, none of that is trapped data. You still have all of this footage, but now you have the capability to review every ounce of it and pick up signals that could alert you to potential threats, concerns, or opportunities where you could do things differently that previously you wouldn't even been aware of. Because you didn't have the human capital to monitor all of that footage of CCTV.
Yeah, because no one could sit there.
You only responded to alerts or things that you had to action against. And now, and I would argue the same is true with so many other risk signals or legacy metrics, it's no longer trapped data. If you're able to turn an AI tool towards it, it could actually work it for you and come up with a trend, come up with a perspective, or tell you this is all garbage data. Like we shouldn't be looking at this because there's nothing here. I mean, but before you just dispense with a particular metric, why don't you see what's there?
Yeah.
So and you don't have to do it yourself. That's the brilliant
That's
part.
it's the beautiful thing.
Yes.
Yeah, the filters that filter out kind of all the noise, or zone in on what we are actually wanting to look for and detect. And so security is not really a transaction. It is more so of having resilience. And so if we want different outcomes, then we have to secure the full spectrum, the entire spectrum. So with that being said, is there anything else that you would want to share just along this topic? You know, maybe something that you may have forgotten to share at ISC.
When I presented at ISC, I really made sure that I did my best to give the full spectrum of the challenges and the opportunities that are out there. The only thing I'll emphasize, and I did this in my presentation, was the fact that if you look at history, if you look at farming, if you looked at the advent of industrialization in factories, if you looked at when the internet was first introduced, there was pushback. And there was, well, this going to work? And is this going to displace this or displace that? There were a lot of people who didn't embrace that. They just felt like it was going to be too displacing.
Yeah.
And I think the same is true with AI. And I really think people should, think about embracing it and how does it make them better as leaders? How does it make their teams more productive? How does it help them mitigate risk? And I think they'll find the same results that we found throughout history.
It speaks for itself.
It speaks for itself. It's like, I know it's a big change, but it's an incredible innovation. And those who get on board and who get on board fast benefit from it very quickly, and it creates its own momentum. And those who, resist, are late adopters, and the benefits for them, at least in the early goings, aren't as great.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you could argue the costs of not doing so may be, overwhelming. So,
no, that's really good. Thanks for emphasizing that point.
No problem.
So.